It's Thursday, August 3rd, 2023. A lot to talk about today. It just seems like almost every day there is just more and more going on. And I think now we are really at a point where it's all about survival. We have to be in survival mode. I was watching Fox Business earlier today. They reported that 36% of Americans have more credit card debt than they do savings. We know that almost half of this country does not even have $400 in savings put away for an emergency. Inflation is not going away, ladies and gentlemen. It is just going up slower. I don't know about you, the last time I was at the grocery store, which was just a few days ago, it is shocking that prices continue to go up. I have not seen much come down. We're looking at oil prices today. I believe oil was up around $2 today. This is going to be more inflation for the consumer because all your food, all your goods, products, going to work, putting gas in the car, everything being transported by gasoline on those trucks, those ships, the boats, the planes, all shipped by oil. It's going to continue to go up. And this is going to just tag on more cost to all those goods, all those products that you buy at COSTCO, at the grocery store, at Kohl's, anything you buy on Amazon. It's all going up. And when you have UPS workers now making $49 an hour, who do you think is going to pay for that? You are. When you ship something, when you buy something on Amazon and it's shipped to you, you're paying for it. 10-year bond yield today, as I make this video, sitting at 4.19%. That is a 9-month high. And most people will be like, well, who cares? That doesn't have anything to do with me. Well, if you're buying a house, if you're borrowing money, if you have a credit card, debt is pretty much tied to the 10-year bond yield, especially home mortgages. It's tied to the 10-year. So when you use those credit cards, when you borrow money to buy a car, an RV, a house, personal loan, business loan, it's tied to the 10-year. And now we're at 4.19%, absolutely screaming. So at the end of the day, the consumer is on fumes at this point. They are spending on fumes. They have borrowed time on their credit cards, many of them already tapping out on the credit cards. We're hearing more and more that banks are going to get more strict on lending, including credit card loans. They're going to be cutting credit lines on many credit cards, and that is literally going to cut the lifeline off for millions of people if they cannot use those credit cards. Their lifeline will be cut, and we're going to see big trouble. Now, shifting gears here a little bit, another indication of this faltering economy. CNBC, secondhand luxury watch prices slumped to near 2-year low after health crisis run. Very interesting. If you get a chance, check this out. The average price of a watch sold secondhand has fallen 31% since March of 2022. At the market's peak, the average price soared to $45,000 for your most desired watches, $45,000, with buyers paying up to 5 times the retail value. This is the ludicrous FOMO that was taking place here. Now that we have no cryptos, many of the, 14, 15, 16,000 different cryptos out there, most of them have already crashed and have disappeared. And a lot of that crypto money is gone. A lot of people who were crypto rich are now back working at the hotels, the restaurants, and the Starbucks. And many of them forced to sell these watches. They're forced to sell the Lambos. But isn't it fascinating now that we don't have the triple P money, now that we don't have the crypto money, the NFT money, the stimulus money, all that money that was floating around, isn't it amazing how the watch market now is just going back down to normal, and we're seeing prices continue to depress, and they're going to continue to go down. In fact, they're going to go down a lot more, because we're going to see the opposite effect now that from what we saw a year or 2 years ago, where everybody was spending money like it was monopoly money. There's going to be less money in the system, ladies and gentlemen, and money is going to be much harder to come by than it was. People, I think, really had no respect for money, because they were literally like lottery winners when they could invest $1,000 in a crypto and it went to 100,000 or it went to $500,000. People they just thought it was so easy to make money, but they didn't realize that all this was just a giant Ponzi scheme, and all Ponzi schemes come to an end, and that is what's happening. The FOMO was everywhere. People just could not spend money fast enough, so they had to have a $100,000 watch, they had to have a $100,000 car, they had to have $1 million house, and now it's over. And many of these same people who live this lavish lifestyle for a year or two are back working at coffee houses, they're back working at Denny's, they're back working at the hotels. It's over. And hopefully a few of those people were smart and kept some of this money and didn't blow it, but most of them did. Going back to the watches, the dealers think prices have stabilized. This to me sounds like a real estate agent. Of course they believe that they've stabilized. Every week they say prices have stabilized, although prices keep coming down, and real estate agents do the same thing. Prices are stable. They're not going to go down anymore. You can buy a house today, then you can refi it. But prices are going to continue to come down, and we're going to see more inventory, and we're seeing it happening right now. And I've never heard a real estate agent ever say it was a bad time to buy a house. Even back in 2005, 6, and even 7, right before the whole collapse, you better buy now, because you're never going to get back in the market. And then look what happened. By 2010, 11, and 12, you were buying houses for 50% off. You were buying developed lots from home builders at 90% off, 10 cents on the dollar. And we're going to see a repeat of this all over again. And we're beginning to see the cracks here right now with what's happening in retail, what's happening with the gray market watch dealers. It's continuing to happen, and it's going to get much, much worse. And talking about watches, really quickly here, I was watching a few videos last night. There was a gray watch dealer. The gray watch market is, these used luxury watch dealers. And there was a very famous watch dealer. I'm not going to say his name. Young guy, real charismatic, had a big YouTube channel at one point. And he was driving the Lambos, the Ferraris, living in the big houses, eating, $500 steak dinners, $1,000 steak dinners, traveling all over the place, flying on private jets, and this lavish lifestyle. Well, now, last night he came out and said he's $5 million in debt, and he's not going to be able to pay his clients back at the moment. So this giant Ponzi scheme is over. He was taking watches on consignment, selling them, and not paying the people their money. And in some cases, it's people who requested their watches back, they're not getting their watches back. So imagine, there's such a disaster. You could have bought a watch from this guy, you got the watch, but he never paid the person that he consigned the watch from, but sold you the watch, took the money from you, never paid the other guy. A complete disaster. And now, where are all these watches that were on consignment? People can't get their watches back. People haven't gotten paid on their consignments, on the sales of these consignments. But again, driving the Lambos, the Ferraris, the big houses, the big dinners, the private jets, $5 million in debt. And people were watching this and just dreaming of the lifestyle, dreaming to have the Lambo, the Ferrari, dreaming to have one of these $100,000 watches, a Patek, an AP, a Rolex. And this guy was living the life, but unfortunately he was living it on other people's money, running a Ponzi scheme. And he got so far behind, and now he's got one client I believe he owes $3 million to. And this is going to get really, really ugly. This guy could go to prison. He's going to go bankrupt. His name is tarnished in the business forever. And it's just another sad reminder that if you don't hold it, you don't own it. You send a $50,000, $100,000, $250,000 watch to somebody, there is now counterparty risk. You don't hold it at this point. Somebody could take that watch and literally steal it. You put your money in the bank, you put your gold in a bank, you put assets in some private vault somewhere, you are running the risk. You have counterparty risk now. You're running the risk that somebody could take it from you. So it's another really sad reminder that if you don't hold it, you don't own it. Even your watch. We're not even talking gold, silver, or cash. We're talking about a watch, another asset that people entrusted with this guy, and now they've been robbed. They've been wiped out. And some of these people, I mean, according to what I was watching and reading, one gentleman is owed $3 million, and there's $2+ million outstanding owed to other people, and people haven't even got their physical watches back. They're demanding their watches back. They're not getting the watches back. People who were told that their watch sold on consignment haven't been paid. And now another bad thing is that those watches that were sold, so somebody, say paid $25,000 for a watch, everything seems normal. That watch now could be reported stolen by the person who put it on consignment to this guy, and the innocent party who bought it, paying, getting the watch, receiving the watch, now that watch could be reported stolen. And Rolex is not going to back that watch. They're not going to service that watch. They're probably going to confiscate that watch if it goes in for a service. So this is really, really getting ugly. So, be careful, ladies and gentlemen, who you follow, who you take advice from, who you give money to. There are so many fakes out there, and this guy got exposed, and a lot of people got burned for millions and millions of dollars. And people have just been drunk on the euphoria of the Lambos and the Ferraris and the private jets and the jewelry and the Rolexes. And this is now just the beginning of the end, in my opinion. We're going to see a lot more people exposed in Ponzi schemes, a lot more white-collar theft and crime taking place. And it's just going to get, I believe, much, much worse. Now, here's another article today. Egan von Greers, have a lot of respect for this guy. It's all about economic survival. Got gold ? Is the title of the article. And I can say, yes, I do. And I'm very happy and very glad that I do own gold and silver. The everything bubble is about to turn to the everything collapse, Egan von Greer says. 2008 global debt, $125 trillion. Today, global debt, $325 trillion plus derivatives. That puts it at over $2+ quadrillion. Interest cycle strongly up. There is only one buyer of U.S. debt. That is the Fed. De-dollarization will lead to rapid decline of the dollar. We are seeing cover-ups, deceit, deception, fabrication, shams, and a bunch of just scams taking place out there. Scams and shams, just like the one I was just talking about earlier with the gray watch market dealer. Be careful, because there are a lot of scams, a lot of shams, a lot of fabrications, a lot of liars out there, a lot of con men out there. Everybody is going to try to make money. At the worst of times, people are getting desperate, and in desperate times, people are going to do desperate things. They're going to try to rob other people. And you may watch somebody driving a nice car. They live in a nice house. Don't be fooled, ladies and gentlemen. These people could rip you off very, very quickly. And in these type of environments, we're going to see more and more desperation. These people who drive the nice cars, have the nice houses, they're going to do whatever they can to keep it. And so if that means robbing and ripping you off with watches or investments, you're going to see it happen. Unacceptable increases in sovereign debt arises when governments can no longer tell the truth. Banks need high rates and a reduction in the loan portfolio to survive. But borrowers, he says, both commercial and private, need lower rates and more credit to survive. This is a dilemma without a solution, and it will end with both sides losing. Borrowers will default and banks will go bankrupt. Things right now, the way I see it, are happening gradually. Death by 1,000 cuts. But eventually, ladies and gentlemen, things are going to begin to happen suddenly. Things will begin to accelerate. You don't want to start preparing during the acceleration. It's going to be too late. It's too late for many people right now. But if you have the means, if you have a job, prepare right now the best that you can. And that doesn't mean, you know, just prepare to buy a house at 50% off. No, it means you better be able to protect yourself, protect your assets, protect your family. You better have security. You better be prepared for power outages, grids down. Can you survive more than a week without power? Ask yourself that. Many people will just say, oh yeah, no problem. But, you know, they have 10 cans of food and a couple bottled waters at their house. How are you going to survive? Can you protect it? Most people are not going to be able to survive a week, let alone 2 weeks or a month. Make sure you're preparing for all of this, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if we could have power go down for a week, a day, a month, 6 months. Nobody knows. Anything is possible now in 2023. And think about what 2024 is going to look like. Anything is possible. So I want everybody to keep preparing across every sector you can, whether it's security, whether it's food, whether it's water, whether it's having borrowable items, whether it's having some gold and silver, you know, these type of assets put away. You know, people will continue to say, well, you can't eat gold. And that is the dumbest statement you could make, because gold is extremely liquid, just like silver, extremely liquid. You can convert either one of them into any currency on planet Earth. Every person, every living, breathing person on planet Earth knows what silver is, knows what gold is. And when you have literally every central bank stockpiling gold, if you think you can't convert one of the most liquid assets into a currency at any time, you're sadly mistaken. But answer me this. We've seen currency collapses happen multiple times, many times throughout history. Tell me a time, whether we've had a currency collapse, a world war, whether there's been some kind of a huge disaster. Tell me a time when gold and silver were worth zero. Please put the date down there for all of us to see. Just, you can go back 5,000 years. Please go back 5,000 years since the beginning of time and tell me through world wars, pestilence, food crisis, economic crisis, starvation, disease. Tell me a time over the last 5,000 years where gold and silver went to zero and had no purchasing power. Please comment, put that down below for all of us to see. I want to see what year that was. Please date that. The truth and the fact of the matter is, you will never find it, because there's never been a time in world history, good or bad, that gold or silver had zero purchasing power. It's never happened. Even in the worst of times, you can go to Zimbabwe, Venezuela. The only thing that had purchasing power when currencies went to zero was gold and silver. And that still stands to today. If you need some gold or silver, go to my link down below, SD Bullion. I don't care if you get it from SD Bullion or you don't. Get it from whoever you trust. I believe, and this isn't financial advice, I just believe these are assets that are so important to have today. More important than any other time in U.S. history. It is more important now to hold these assets than any other time. We've never seen such danger as we are right now. So go to my link down below, SD Bullion, or go to somebody else's link, or go to your coin shop, or go to wherever you buy. I know a lot of people are going to get just so upset that I have an SD Bullion link. So if that upsets you, go buy it from somewhere else. But typically the people that get upset are the people who are completely broke, have no gold, have no silver, owned Bozo the Clown crypto last year, bought it for 3 cents, bought $2,000 of it, and now it's zero. So I'm sorry it went to zero. I'm sorry you have no gold, no silver. I'm sorry, but that was your choice. We all have free will, but I'm buying real assets that have history, real assets that, you know, central banks are buying, China's buying, Russia's buying, the Saudis are buying. That's what I'm doing. Airbnb reports continued deceleration in nights and experienced booked. So apparently you can, at this point, you can rent a bedroom. I think this has been going on for quite a while. I've never done an Airbnb, but I think this is not exactly new, but it's becoming more popular with Airbnb that you can rent a bedroom. How many homeowners now are going to be forced to rent out bedrooms in their homes to strangers because they're falling behind? They can't even pay their utility bills. How are they going to pay their mortgages? We have 25 to 30,000 autos being repoed a day in America. People are doing everything they can to hang on to their houses. So they're going to turn to Airbnb now and rent bedrooms out to strangers just to hold on. This is where we're at today. And yet people are telling you and I everything is okay, that the economy is doing good. I mean, give me a break. Here's another one from The Hedge. Freight volume and spending declined markedly in second quarter. Bob Costello, Senior Vice President and Chief Economist at the American Trucking Association, said, trucking is in the midst of a significant slowdown. Weaker consumer demand for goods and a slowdown in manufacturing activity and housing starts are having a major impact on the trucking industry. Nearly every category we track, both nationwide and regional, contracted in the second quarter. Not a good sign for the U.S. economy. You know, if you go to my video last week when I went to the Back to the Future Mall, startling. I mean, 90% of the mall gone. 90% of the mall is gone. We can blame it on e-commerce. We can blame it on Amazon. And look, Amazon reports blowout profit. Beats on sale and issues optimistic guidance. Now, what I find interesting here is more and more vacant real estate, more store owners shutting down, malls collapsing, the consumer running on fumes at this point. They're tapped out, but yet they're finding a way to buy stuff, more dumb stuff that they probably don't even need on Amazon. And how are they buying it? They're buying it with a credit card. These people will get what they deserve. These are the same people that will write me and complain to me that they have no gold because I can't afford it. I have no silver because I just can't afford it. Again, the same people holding a $9 Starbucks on their social media page on Facebook, same people spending with a credit card on Amazon, the same people who are completely 100% not prepared for what's coming. They cannot stop the lifestyle. Just like the gentleman, you know, with the Lambo and the Ferrari, with the watch business. He could not stop the lifestyle, the addiction to the lifestyle, even if he had to go $5 million in debt and burn his clients, his reputation, face bankruptcy, face prison, and maybe even worse. I mean, there's some people out there that aren't too nice that, you know, you burn them for a $50,000 watch. It might be the guy that he burned for a $5,000 watch that shows up with a baseball bat. And I hope that doesn't happen, you know, but, you know, you're dealing with people's money. People can get crazy. But it's incredible how people are continuing to try and spend when they don't even have any money. I'm going to finish with this last article. This happened a few days ago. I forgot to bring it up the other day, but I want to bring it up now. Irvine robbery. Thieves use hammers to steal $900,000 in jewelry during violent smash and grab. This happened like 12:30 in the afternoon in Irvine. Irvine, California. If you don't know Irvine, California, it is one of the safest cities in America. And now, 12:30 in the afternoon, you have people running in with hoodies, pulling right in front of this place in Irvine, California, pulling right up in broad daylight, people across the way having a coffee, eating lunch, watching this. And it was maybe 4 guys, hoodies, masks, get out with hammers, run into this place, and within 60 seconds cleaned out almost $1 million of jewelry. This is society today. And as we continue to see more white-collar crime, we see people ripping and robbing people off through business, people that were once trusted who are so desperate that they'll rob their own clients, people pulling up in cars at 12:30 in the afternoon in one of the safest cities in America and running in and stealing almost $1 million in jewelry at 12:30 in the afternoon. This is what it's coming to. We are going to continue to see more societal breakdown. We're going to see more crime. we're going to see more inflation. We're going to see more homelessness. We're going to see more job losses. It's just going to continue, ladies and gentlemen. This is still gradual. Wait till it accelerates. It's going to roll over so many unprepared, asleep people. They're not going to know what hit them. So people always want me to give some type of advice. Here's some advice today. Prepare. Don't get steamrolled by this tsunami, this Category 5 hurricane that is coming. You've been warned. Everything I'm talking about today is fact. You can Google any bit of it. Many of you have already experienced a job loss, or a spouse who's lost a job, or a relative or a friend who's lost a job. Many of you may have already experienced an auto repo, a business going under and shuttering forever. Many of you are experiencing, we're all here in the same boat, we're all experiencing inflation. You go to the grocery store, I go to the grocery store, you pay for a service, I pay for a service. It's getting absolutely crazy, and it's not stopping. And so we're going to see the momentum of this collapse begin to pick up and accelerate and build up more steam, and it is going to just roll people over. It's going to eat people up alive. You don't want to be a victim here, ladies and gentlemen. So get the debts paid off. That's some advice I'm going to give everybody today. Get it at least manageable. Take on an extra job, an extra side hustle, maybe 2 side hustles. Do whatever you can to get the debts paid off. The debts paid off, then you need to be raising as much capital as possible right now so that you can, weather the storm or take advantage of some opportunities that are going to be coming. We're seeing used car prices coming down. I'm seeing the RV lots piling up with RVs. I'm sure the same thing's happening at the boat lots too. This stuff's going to go on sale at some point. Real estate's going to go on sale at some point. There's going to be too many people out there forced to sell the boats, the cars, the toys, the RVs, the vacation homes, the primary homes. We're going to see things happen here in the US that we never thought humanly possible. And there's 2 types of people at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen. People who are unprepared and people who are prepared. And you need to pick which one you want to be. God bless. Have a great day.